Good. And let's go! Welcome everybody to episode 42 of the Alec Steele Show. It's fantastic to have you here. We've got the forge rocking and rolling. Sadly, there's no Sam. He's at home, but that's great because he's still going to be moderating the chat. And of course, it's wonderful having you all here. Are we all good? Looks like it's going. Wonderful. Forge is rocketing away. It's white hot. And the reason is that we're going to be making a grappling hook. Do you mind if we go in for a little bit of a close shot? We're going to be making a grappling hook. Now, I'm going to be using a technique that obviously I learned from Brian Brazil. Now, isn't that funny? Who would have thought that I would ever be doing anything with any techniques from Brian Brazil? That's got to be a first, I dare say. Well, it isn't a first. I do this all the time using Brian Brazil's techniques because I really like them, and that's my introduction to the craft of blacksmithing, and I am still very new to the craft, still learning. So it is. Ooh, look at that! That is a great sweep, John Michael. Thank you very much. But what we're going to be doing with this grappling hook, okay, everybody, if you're joining right now, we're making a grappling hook. It's going to be a lot of fun. What we're going to do, I've made this collar here. Now, ideally, I would have a collaring tool, which is different spaces for a different sized gap and an actual bottom to it. The way I did this, I did it off camera because it was a little bit podunk, is I drove this down into the vise, and it's a little difficult to do. Luckily, I got it to work first time. When you do this, what I've understood is you want to make sure that these aren't twisted, so you can feel for that by seeing if there's any rock. If they're twisted, you're going to get a rhombus. Oh, God, that transition, that's great. You're going to get a rhombus forging, and that won't work for forge welding it together, because we are going to be forge welding it. First thing, however, putting this to the side, laying these back on the anvil, I have some 6-inch long pieces of 3/8 of an inch square. Technically, this is 10 millimeters square. Hot rolled steel. We're going to lay this in the fire, and I'm going to draw some points. I'm going to take about 2 inches of material on each one, draw some points. Forge is beautifully hot. Sorry for the delay in turning on the stream. I had to switch the propane bottles over, but that's okay. I can edit out the first bit for when you guys watch in the future. I'm going to put a couple of pieces of steel in the forge. I'll keep a couple of pieces out of there, so we still got time to guess who was clever enough to start a live show without a hammer. Let me grab a hammer. I do this kind of stuff all the time. I think this is a pretty good hammer. Oh, here's my favorite. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Episode 42. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, I have a tong clip, pair of tongs. This is going to work. Pieces of steel are going to be hot in no time. Now, so that I can hopefully get a relative amount of I need a Sharpie. Good job I have them on my table. So that I can get a relatively equal length of taper, I'm going to roughly mark out, that's like 1 3/4, but I'm going to take this much for the taper itself. Start hammering away all 4 sides. That's why I've got the tong clip. Not quite hot there in the forge. And this should be a 1-heat taper. Now, I've never done a grappling hook. I don't know what I'm going to do on the other end. Ideally, I'd have a slightly, if we go back in close again, a slightly thicker, or at least wider this way collar. This would allow me a little bit more meat for the grappling hook itself. But I don't have that. I didn't have the steel. This is all I had. So we're going to be using this, and hopefully it'll work just fine. My one concern as I enter this, which might well indeed, be valid concerns as we go through with this, is that I don't have enough material to create a strong enough kind of fastening solution for said grappling hook. What I'll probably do is forge weld it, flatten it out some, and then punch a hole. Hopefully I'll consolidate the forge weld well enough that it goes well. We'll see. Again, very long time since I've done this technique, and of course I've never made a grappling hook like this. So I'm going to take a tong clip. I literally just put my tong clip down over there. We'll get, Drink! If you're playing the Alec Steele drinking game, if you're not familiar with the Alec Steele drinking game, my recommended drink is obviously orange juice. We make this quite clear. This is a family-friendly show. You do whatever you want to do. Okay, I'm going to take that much material. Wonderful. Right about there. You drink whatever you want to drink, and whenever I drop things, you go ahead and take a drink. I need to get a soundboard set up so that you or Sam, whoever's over there, can hit a button and we can get some cool noise. Got a nice twisted taper there. We'll see if we can fix that up as we get into the lower temperatures. Don't necessarily have to go super, super thin, so we keep some strength there. Now I'm going to gently planish it out and get rid of that twist here. hopefully. It'd be nice for me not to have a twist in there. That's a little bit of a poor display of forging. We'll fix that on the next ones though, however. Straighten it all off. Make a nice clean taper. It's not quite centered. Out of focus, there we go. I'm going to put it on manual focus.
There you go.
And then I'm going to take the diagonals off, like so. Planish. And now I've only got to do, oh, it's raining on me. I'm getting rained on from up there. So now I'm just going to planish the surfaces. And I'm going to find a wire brush. Now again, it's always great to be planning. Thank you, John Michael. Appreciate it. Always great to be planning. Give it a wire brush. And I'm going to flip it around. Wire brush the other end, since this is going to be part of the forge weld. Thrown it across the floor. That is number 2 for the Alec Steele drinking game. I'm melting the rest of the steel that I have in the fire. It's getting a little toasty.
All right, Alex, Scott Blinkborough asks, my wife has gotten into blacksmithing because of your videos.
Yep.
And she's interested in taking lessons. Is 30 pounds per lesson reasonable?
30 pounds per lesson.
Yeah.
Is that reasonable? From who? How long of a lesson? I have no idea. Basically, a gentleman is asking about his wife taking blacksmithing classes, I presume you ask, and sadly, it's difficult for me to answer because, again, how long is a piece of string? More specifics. More specifics. If it's like a per hour rate, if somebody is charging 30 pounds an hour to teach you, I think that's perfectly reasonable, depending on how good the curriculum is and how good they teach. 30 pounds an hour, what's that, like 45 bucks? To get somebody to take time out of their day to teach you is extremely reasonable. But fantastic that your wife wants to get into it. Okay, so let's taper this one out. Hopefully, I won't mess this one up quite the way I did the other one. Forging over the far edge of the anvil. I'm not necessarily trying to get too crazy with it. It's a small piece of steel. Not fun. Bring it down to a similar kind of diameter. To the top of my head, probably pretty close like so. Then I'm going to work again all 4 sides, not half on, half off anymore. And just planish the surface as we go down. Clean it up, polish it up. What fun. A little bit of planishing down the workpiece.
Want to know what's the best size of anvil to start blacksmithing?
What is the best size of anvil to start blacksmithing with? Frankly, I really don't think that it matters at all. What is most important is that you start blacksmithing. Now, you've seen me do a lot of work on very small anvils. You've seen me use the striking anvils a lot, right? Now, they are a 40-pound block of mild steel, and I've made hundreds of tools on them, working with a 12-pound sledge. Heavy work. Can indeed be done on a light anvil. Now, the key to getting the best result out of your heavy work is making sure that said anvil is nicely secured and isn't moving around much. But I would not be concerned about the weight of the anvil. There are very few things you need to be very concerned about when you're picking an anvil. One of them is that you have a good flat surface. Another one is that it's not going to be dangerous, really. As long as you've got a flat surface and it's not going to be chipping and exploding on you, then you're good. And there are very few anvils that will chip and explode on you. The few things that I can really think to avoid would be a cast iron anvil, because that material is, though it's relatively soft, it's very prone to chipping and breaking. And if you were to hit an edge on a cast iron anvil, you likely could indeed send a chip flying in your direction. How close did I get? Can't see, which is very useful because how close am I? Oh, I'm like 3/16 of an inch off. I'll put the next piece of steel in the fire, and again, take the hot one out, burning myself here. Take the hot one out, if I can grip it. Tongue clip on. Here we go. It's a little cold. Taper it again. Let's see if I can light it up. I'll be a little more forceful here. I'll take bigger bites. Now, the reason I want to be more forceful is that coming out of there. It's pretty cold, so if I can hit harder, put a little more energy in there, maybe heat it up a little bit. Okay, there we go. Come in with a flat-sided hammer. What fun. I have not done any hand forging this week. It's funny, I often do more hand forging in a live show than I do cumulatively all week. So it's very fun. That's one of the reasons that I really enjoy doing these things, because I get to practice and and keep myself a little bit up to date with the hand hammer. Planish, 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 planish. Polish up all the surfaces. Any more fun comments coming in, guys?
Somebody wants to know what's your favorite type of steel to forge.
My favorite type of steel to forge is the softest steel, because it's soft, it's easier to move. However, due to the fact that I love what is revealed within the Damascus when you polish it up, I really like making Damascus steel, because while making it, I know that I'm moving it around and making the pattern do different things, and that's exciting. There's a great excitement to making the Damascus steel, which I really enjoy. So I'm going to take my tongue clip off. We're going to set this over here. Make sure I don't burn myself next time I pick it up. Okay. There we go. Ah! I dropped it on the wood in the workshop. Now, what happens when I drop things? Oh, Alec Steele drinking game comes into effect. Let's take another one. Let's,
Pulp or pulp-free orange juice?
Sorry?
Pulp or pulp-free?
Now that is a fantastic question. Pulped or pulped free? Well, I like to think that the more extravagant of us go for the pulped. Wait, yes, the pulped. You know, the extra bits, extra flavor and goodness and healthiness. But however, if you're feeling a little soft, you can go pulp free, of course, and you know, I won't have any negative feelings about that. Thank you, Blake, for the gift of this Yeti cup. These things are awesome. They're so much better to drink out of than the water bottle that I was drinking out of. Really appreciate that. I understand why all you Americans really like those things.
So we have a question. What size hammer do you prefer? And why do you hold it so close to the head?
What size hammer do I prefer, and why do I hold it so close to the head? Great question. I prefer a 3.5 pounder. Like if I had one hammer to use, it'd be a 3.5 pounder. I can do most things with it. And you know, I rarely do large forgings without a power hammer. So anything that I can't do with a 3.5 pounder, I should probably be doing with a power hammer anyway. So I like a 3.5 pounder. The reason that I hold it so close to the head is I get a good degree of control this way. And that is the way that I find I'm able to relax the most while forging, while still getting an effective amount of work done. Frankly, it is a lot about comfort. It's a lot about, you know, what makes you feel more comfortable at the anvil as to how you swing a hammer, the style of forging that you undertake. As we are doing this for the fun. And for me, I'm a lot more comfortable working at a relatively slightly slower pace, taking a little bit of a heavier hammer, gripping it a little closer to the head, having a really relaxed grip. It's being gripped to my fingertips. And taking my time with it, focusing on the individual blows rather than a set of blows to achieve what I want to do. Focus on each individual one, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that. That works well for me. Beautiful. So I'll planish that off. There we go.
Frank has a 3-year-old son who loves your show.
Frank? Frank, I'm very pleased that your 3-year-old son loves the show. That's lovely to hear. That is always so exciting when we hear of the little ones enjoying the show. It makes me very happy to hear. Thank you all for letting me know. With that, a wire brush. Fantastic. And now I'm going to let that cool down. And drop it right there and let it cool down a little bit. I'm going to let it cool down enough that I can hold it. I'm not going to bother quenching it. What I am going to do, however, is hang out here. I'm going to close the forge door and hang out here for a few seconds and chat and drink from... And I dropped a hammer. I really need a soundboard. This is going to be great. then you can hammer on a button, you know.
People are complaining you're dropping too much, they're getting too drunk.
I know, there have been some shows where I haven't dropped enough. I mean, it seems like we can't please everybody. Sometimes we drop a lot.
A bunch of new people this week that have come over from the Samurai Carpenter channel.
Brilliant. Well, I'm very pleased to hear those of you that have come from the Samurai Carpenter channel. That makes me very happy to hear. So exciting. I can't wait to make up some crazy Damascus steel for his box.
1,600 people.
1,600 people are on right now. Great having you all here. Let's hope we can get this to 2,000. Maybe once I start throwing the sparks around when we forge weld this, maybe you'll all be inclined to share it. Maybe just as I get ready to forge weld. Maybe you'll all be inclined to share it, as it'll be a make or break moment. That one heat where I come out and really throw the sparks. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Definitely destroy a lot of camera equipment in the shop. You guys will probably be set on fire. Those propane bottles are going to explode. And we're going to want to make sure that we have as many people watching then. So as we approach that time, I'll ask you all to share the video with your friends. For now, however, they're cooling off. I'm going to find my collar. Here we go. Set that on the anvil. And what I'm going to be doing is, now, I'd much rather have a collaring tool. To give you a little example of what a collaring tool is, I can take a Sharpie. There we go. If we come in on the close view. Now, if you want to learn more about collaring tools, Brian Brazil has an online course on my online school where you can learn a little bit more about that. You can see better how they're built, so you can make one yourself if you ever do want to do any forge welded bundles in the Brazil style. But essentially, what you do is you have a bottom piece, and then you have spacers. So you have spacers. You have an upright. You have spacers for the width that you want, an upright. Spacers for the width that you want. And then what you do is you basically are then able to drive a collar down into that gap that you make, which is fantastic because you have a bottom, you have the sides to it, and you can then hammer these over. Again, want to learn more? Brian Brazil has an online course on my online school. There's a link in the description to this video. It's beginblacksmithing.com, which is pretty cool. And it's good fun. And that stuff, you know, his tool making, the tool making techniques have been shared a lot. You can see a lot about those online, but in terms of these more decorative things that he's come up with, they're a little more obscure. So definitely worth checking out. What's up?
A couple people asking you what kind of brush that is and where can they get one?
What kind of brush this is and where can you get one? Sam is selling these brushes now. Go to forgeburners.com. Sam is listening to the chat right now. He'll be able to drop it in. So Sam, if you drop in your website link. I believe he's selling these brushes. So definitely go check those out and get yourself a brush. So how hot are we here? This is all going to be fine for me to put them in a bucket of water. I'm going to take a glove, pick them up with a glove.
Doesn't Sam have some new stuff on there?
Sam does indeed have some new stuff. Funnily enough, he's selling forge burners, which is pretty funny. I'm just going off screen here. I'm going to find a bucket of water and cool this off. He's selling forge burners and he's taking pre-orders for the forge. The small forge, the small knife-making beginner blacksmithing forge, which is going to be a huge success. Can help a lot of people get into the craft of blacksmithing. I've been hinting at it. He's doing pre-orders for it. I'll talk a little more about it once I have the prototype and can do a video about the prototype itself. However, you can absolutely already go and do the pre-order. Are you asking me to move the brush? Absolutely not. I'm going to cover it all up. Thank you very much. I appreciate you hinting at me to do that. So, with a little bit of water, and I'm going to move the tongue clip to the side. What we're going to do is as follows. Woo! I only cooled off one end. Yeah. So I'm going to lay these in there. Again, it would be good to have the collaring tool. I just don't get around to making it. I'll definitely make one. It'll be a good opportunity to talk about Brian's course some more. I'll need to make a collaring tool so I can do more of these projects. You can see where my tapers are off there. That one's the longest, I think. I'm not particularly worried about that. On this grappling hook. There we go. But I'll make myself a collaring jig so you can all see it. And so I can talk a little bit more about that. For now, however, you see these are in there. What I want to do is I want to bend over these little tabs right here. And that's a really difficult bend to make. And this is where I'm really going to suffer the consequences of not having this jig. because that jig means that I have a bottom to it, and I can drive downwards with this. What I'm going to have to do, without having that, is I'm going to have to lock it in the vise, and I'm likely going to have to do a lot of repositioning as I go. Sadly, that's what happens when you don't have things set up. Now, of course, I made this collar in the vise, so there's no reason that this shouldn't work. If it doesn't work, well, thank you very much for for being here, but we'll make it work. How about that? I think we'll just try and make it work no matter what. I might have to cut up some more steel and do it again if it doesn't. I'm going to try cold. Cold should work. In the collaring jigs, this 1/8 inch flat material would work fine cold. Has Sam posted his link all right? That went through? Yeah. Good, good. 1/8 inch flat would work fine cold, but in the collaring jig, we'll see how it goes without it. And now, of course, we can go to... Oh, I'm out of focus. We'll fix that right up. Ah! We're fixing it. We're about to fix it. We're good. Oh, great. Freezing up the bottles right before we're about to forge weld. That's jolly good. Great having you all here. What's the viewer count at now? Okay, so in anticipation of this sinking down in the vise there, I've got it quite high up. I'm quite happy for that right now, because what I'm going to do is, so that I can get it as tight as possible, right now I'm going to grip it, and then I'm going to drive these pieces down, sinking this down in the vise. Because of the way these drawers are, by driving it down with it gripped, it should tighten it even further. Make sure the ends are relatively even. There we go. I'm going to tighten, so I'm going to get on the vise, tighten, tighten, tighten. Now, I'm going to take a piece of steel that is the width that I want, right there. Let me fix that exposure. Perfect. Take a piece of steel that is the width of these materials, pieces, thingamawatsits, doohickey madoodahs. There we go. Set it in there. Drive it. Drive it, drive it. See if I can re-grip the vise. Lift up. There we go. I want it tight. Got to do what you got to do. Naturally, again, make the tools you need if you want to do this properly. Great. A little more driving. Perfect. One more. Now, I'm going to really see if I can kick the vise any tighter, melt my mic pack in the dragon's breath of the forge, and get my back really warm. And this is where we try the tricky part. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to do the most difficult one first, which is over here. Which one is the shortest? Yeah, I'll try that. I'm going to come here, and I'm going to be hammering at an angle, try and drive it over. Nice. Come here too. Now those pieces aren't at least going to flip out of there. I can now alternate. Make sure we're getting a really nice tight bend in there. By using this piece, I can really control exactly where I'm hitting. Now it's a little bit more of a gap than I'd like. Let's calculate that. Remember, never ever trust me to do maths, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. There we go. Fantastic. Sorry?
1,800.
1,800 people. Now, we've broken 2,000 before. That was a very exciting day. It would be nice to do that. So, now what I'm going to do... Oh, I forgot about how obnoxiously tight I'd tightened this. This is going to be annoying. Okay, let's hammer on it. Watch me break my leg vise. Probably bent the thing. So, I'm now going to see if I can give that a tighten. Okay. It's pretty loose, right? Not the tightest thing in the world. And it's going to be that way. The key for me is going to be keeping it all together while it heats up. Now, I could wrap it in baling wire, which is something I'm considering doing. However, I kind of want this to work. Now, wanting isn't the same as reality. I want it to work by just gripping on it. So if I can get a good grip in some tongs, no. That's going to be very difficult with those. If I can get a good grip in some tongs, I'd be very happy. Now, what would be great for this would be some offset tongs. I don't have any. So I'm going to set up the forge first, because the forge needs to be extremely hot. Uh-oh. No! Am I seriously completely out of propane? I've got no more pressure. Maybe that's melted enough. Whoop.
What about the one from the...
No, there's got to be more. That could work. We'll make it work no matter what. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that off. I think I might have... The check valve on this might have engaged. Because this one's full enough that I should get good pressure. So we'll see if this works. Okay. Open that up. See if this works. We'll see. We'll see. Oh no! Not getting the pressure I want. Maybe this is melted enough. Just want a little more pressure. We'll get there. That one's definitely the fullest. Let's turn that one off. Okay, let's empty this. Sorry guys. If you want, you could pivot that camera around. There's the small screw underneath. Sorry? How full is it?
It feels pretty heavy.
Feels pretty heavy? Let me try this first. Go back to this one. It might have melted enough that we just get a few more minutes of good pressure. Let me actually see how heavy that is. If it's super heavy, I'll just get that. Sorry guys for the inconvenience. Let's have a look.
Even then it's not that full.
No, it's still relatively empty. Let me try this one, because there's more propane in it. It's just that it's a little frozen. We've had the forge running for a while. We made a really good video, but it meant that I froze up this bottle. Okay, move the fire extinguisher out of the way. Yes, there is indeed a fire extinguisher in the workshop. So yeah, with the forge running, a bottle froze. Let me put this on adjustable nut rounder in Imperial. It does make it tricky when you've got metric bolts to do, but adjustable nut rounders. You kind of hope there was a little more universality to them. I don't say. Almost there. Thank you very much, everybody, for hanging in there during this little intermission. Now remember, this could all still go dreadfully wrong. I could pull that piece out of the fire and everything just falls apart. And nothing happens. We'll see.
If you have a super chat,
Ever sailed in Lake District? No, actually I haven't ever sailed in the Lake District. Okay, let's close them up. Hopefully we get a little more pressure. Okay, we'll get a little bit more pressure for a little bit more time. So, I want to be quick, because that forge is soon going to be up to temperature. I'm going to run through this part of the workshop, and I'll bring you along virtually. So I'm opening drawers quickly and frantically, trying to find some sort of... Oh, but I realized I have my Leatherman to cut some wire. But I find the Leatherman, I find some wire. I cut said wire. Might not work so well in a gas forge. I've only ever done this in a coke forge. Now, whenever Brian did this, he did this as a more of a keep it from oxidizing. We'll see if this helps keep it together at all. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap from the base here in some baling wire. quickly and frantically as the forge gets up to temperature. Now this is going to hopefully keep it from oxidizing quite as much. It might just melt off straight away. In a coke forge, when one did this, he always taught us to put it straight upright. It worked quite well, and this was out of the fire. We'll see how it goes when it's in the fire, quite as much as it will be in the gas forge. It might just melt right off. Put it on for safety's sake. It shall hopefully keep it together to a certain degree too. Okay. It won't weld together by any stretch of the imagination. Tighten this up. Watch that just melt right off. It probably will. I'm pleased that we got a little more heat out of that. The forge is now back to being white, which I'm really pleased with. Okay. Loosen that up. Why am I tack welding it? Well, this is a blacksmithing demo. So let's count that as 3 drinks. How about that? I should have been a little more careful. Put the collar back on. It doesn't want to keep its tension. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to have to be super duper careful as I come out of the forge. I'm going to leave these on there. Put this upright.
Sam says welding is cheating.
Exactly. And let that heat up in the forge. See how that works. It's in the forge. I want to get it red, and then I want to flux it. And we're going to be using magic flux, which is Iron Mountain flux. This stuff is amazing, and it can hopefully mean that my mistakes will be mitigated and avoided. Let's check some comments real fast while I have a second, and while I'm trying to make it not seem as if I'm extremely worried about this failing. Okay, my first drink is gone. Alec, you're costing me here. Booze is expensive in Canada. Sorry about that, Dale. Okay. I just want enough warmth that, and see, this is it'd be nice to bring it up to temperature a little. The cap is closed. It's probably just out of battery. There's a battery right there, and there's a cover on the side. Now I'm quite willing to be relatively carefree about the fluxing of this, because though it really won't make much difference in how it welds, you feel it does make a difference, despite it. How am I going to correct that? Okay. Is this the option that I'm looking for? Not quite. Yep, you're good. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. What is it that I'm looking for? Here we go. If you half press it, it should focus. Oh no, I put it on manual focus, didn't I? Here we go. There we go. It's focused now. But it'll be jumping so. Ah! Hang on, hang on, hang on. Let's see if this will grip it. Ooh, I think it'll work. I've got to be super careful. What I do want to do, there we go, find out where that is. And I'm basically just going to sacrifice my tongs to the heat. The tongs are going to get super hot, which I don't like doing, but I want to make sure that I get this set, What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a form of a tack weld, I guess, is when this comes a little higher up to heat. I'm going to take this brick first, see if I can insulate the forge a little better. When this comes a little higher up to heat, to like a high yellow. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to give it one hit. We're going to see if that'll tack it together. Woo, exciting stuff. And I'm going to hit it the way that the collar closes. Medium hit, not too much. I don't want to spread all over the workshop. Now is the time to share, because in these next 5 minutes we work out whether this project is a total failure and I need to practice this, because I've not made a grappling hook and I haven't done this technique in so long, or we find out if it's a smashing success and all of this worry was for nothing. Either which way, it's a lot of fun, and that's important, because
people are definitely curious about how much propane you use now after.
How much propane I use? Well, that was all from the hammer making. It depends. So I'm running a big 2-burner forge right now. I'll usually burn about half a 100-pound tank of propane a day. So that's about how much I use. Costs me about 25 pounds a day to run the forge, unless I'm doing like crazy big work. Making the hammers, it was probably more expensive than that because I had it like turned all the way up.
1957 viewers, almost
1,957 viewers. Unbelievable. Thank you all so much for joining me. We have a hot piece of steel in the fire. What I'll do is I'm going to give you guys a forge cam now, since hopefully I won't be needing to go to the vise. If I do go to the vise again, and we're not arranging the things, it's going to be a big problem. It'll mean that something went dreadfully wrong. Here's a forge cam. Relatively accurate colors there. Nice. You can go split screen with that if you want. Ooh, it is toasty in here. Oh, we got a forge cam, everybody. Not everybody has one of those. So you can see my tongs are getting warm, sadly. Sacrifice. And what you can do is as soon as I come out, you can hit on the bottom row, you can hit number 2, and it'll switch right over. Great having you all here. Hello, 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 hello. Let's read some more comments. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Smash the like. Oh, we're at 2,030 viewers. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for all being here. 2,030 viewers right now. Keep sharing the stream because we're about to throw some sparks. I hope you guys close your eyes when I let you know. That steel is starting to get warm. You can see some ever so slight bubbles on the surface of the steel on the forge cam. I think we're about ready to do a tack weld. Just a few more seconds here. Maybe we'll get to 2100. Maybe then I'll do the tack weld. We'll see. Maybe I'll have oxidized the material too much by then. Who knows? Oh my goodness, who knows? 2,051 viewers. We're about getting ready there. We're almost there. So today, I'll quickly talk about that while that's getting up to heat. We made a great video. You're gonna like tomorrow's video. Are we ready?
We're ready.
10 seconds. 10 seconds. Here we go. I'm about to shower sparks all over everybody. You might want to stand up because that jacket will melt. Here we go. Coming out for the tack weld. And I'll hit it once more. Ah! I miss it. I might have broke it. It slipped. It's definitely going to rhombus. That's going to be a problem. Dun, dun, dun. I need a soundboard for these situations. So what happens is I dropped it down ever so slightly and I bent it, which means that the collar is on an angle. So when I get to forging that, it's going to be on the rhombus and it might not want to come together. I'm going to go ahead and flux the hell out of it because when you don't know what to do, flux it. And next heat, I'm going to try and make sure I have a much more stable grip before hitting. Back in the forge we go. The forge is cooling down as that bottle freezes. So this is a race against time to get this welded. It would be good. And we can do that. Get a heater on it. I do not think I have a spare extension lead though. Oh, I do. Run over here. As that's in the forge, as the seconds count down to not having a forge hot enough to do it. Now this is a great lesson in planning, right? Because if one plans one's forge appropriately, you wouldn't have this issue. Planning is not the type of thing that I'm usually particularly interested in, however. fab to say. Okie dokie. I do indeed have a spare expansion cord. We'll pull that open. Let's see how the piece is doing in the fire. Almost hot enough to come out with again. Make sure that we're lined up with the right one. Boom. Let's see if we can get a little more heat. Okay, are we ready? I'm not going to wear a glove. Might get a little bit burnt, but we're going to come out of the forge again and see if we can hammer it home. Ah! 2150. Ah! It's hot. I'm burning myself. Eee. Sacrifices I'm making for a good forge rail. Let's see if it'll work this time. Balancing it ever so precariously. Don't like that. See, it's rhombused and the collar has buckled. Because of the rhombus, the pieces are not welded. That's a big problem. Dun dun dun! This is not going to serve any purpose at this point. It'll be so oxidized inside the welding surfaces that this is has just about a 0% chance of coming together. But I'm going to keep going. For what reason, I don't know. Maybe 0% isn't 0%. We'll give it another go. So I really do believe this would have worked. There was that one hit on that first welding. You know, I said I'd do one hit. I ended up doing two. I thought that'd be smart. What I did is as I turned it, I thought, okay, I got to hit it fast. I didn't have a secure grip. I didn't realize I didn't have a secure grip because I was rushing. Turned it, just as I hit, it drops down. I hit the collar at an angle, and rather than the collar being square, it goes off an angle, which means that then when I hit from one corner, it's just mushing it around out of square. For something to weld, you need two surfaces hitting into each other evenly. You can't have two surfaces sliding against each other. When you make a rhombus, which is like a tilted over square, and you put pressure down from the top, no longer are you just bulging out a square. What you're doing is you're slipping whatever weld surfaces there is. You're slipping all four weld surfaces, which is a big problem. That's why I'm encountering these massive difficulties because of that mishit, rhombusing the collar. So this could be.
Walter Reed has made a donation and he says that you should do a global tour.
A what?
A global tour.
Global tour. That would be fun. Thank you very much, Walter Reed. I really appreciate the super chat. Really appreciate it. Global tour would be fun. Soon toasty. Soon toasty. Again, that forge is just a little lacking in terms of the heat. Hopefully we can unfreeze some propane there, though. Oh, I don't know if it'll work. I have no idea if it's going to work. Which way is the rhombus? Okay, watch out, sparks. About to be thrown. It's white. Rhombused. It's not wanting to come together. It does not want to work. I do indeed still believe that this is going to be a failure. I'm going to keep going, just in case. If I can just get it started. What I want for this, okay, where I see that this might work, if possible, and I don't think it's possible because I don't think I've ever got a rhombus weld to weld. But what
It says use a bigger hammer.
Use a bigger hammer. What I want to happen is to hammer on it and just get one little bit tacked together strong enough that I can fix the rhombus and then weld the rest of the welding surfaces. That's what I'm wishing for. If it happens, I don't know. It might not. In which case, I'll have to do a vlog about it. Which would be fun, too. I'll include all the mistakes I make then, though. And what that'll mean is that'll be a good opportunity for me to actually make a collaring jig. Not that I have enough on my plate already. This might have to be postponed a few weeks. But we'll accomplish this at some point, certainly. I just need to, God, really hope I can get it welded.
Sam said hit it like a fairy.
Hit it like a farrier. Now, where is my 3/4 of a pound farrier's hammer on a 3-foot long stick? I don't know. I don't know. Sam must have taken it out. I think that's what he uses. Let's see, what else is everybody up to? Again, Blake, thank you so much for the cup. Really appreciate it. Ah! I accidentally clicked off the app. Hello, everybody. Use duct tape. That fixes everything. Ba-da-da-da-ba. Here we go. Alright, let's give it another go. She looks relatively warm. Let's see if this works. Nope. Nope. Gave me the illusion that it was coming together. Ah, but it was not. It just came right apart. Oh, goodness. You know when I said you can't fix a rhombus, I was not exaggerating. I don't know why I'm going to spend any more time doing this, but I want to keep hammering on it just for the sake of hammering on it. So, let's... God, that is the most awful rhombused collar I've ever seen, and it's all my fault. None of it is to chance. My own mistake. Goodness gracious. What can you do apart from be better? Alright, this is only what I'm going to have to hope to do next time. Okay, and you can easily tell if we go in close that it's completely not welded in certain spots, as there's a massive difference in color of the material right there, as opposed to everything else. Everything else, you know, here it looks to be stuck, because at least there's an even color throughout. Here, however, I believe indeed that that's not welded, because the collar is a much darker color to the pieces that are inside, so it's not conducting heat through as it would if it were a solid piece, you know.
Randall James made a donation and said you should start over.
Start over? Randall James? I might do it. It just means I got to cut up a load of material, and I got to wake up early tomorrow. There are times that I really want to push through with things, and there are times...
Tips for people who are just getting started in blacksmithing?
Do I have any tips for people that have just started blacksmithing? Absolutely. Just get a setup somehow, get a forge, get a block of steel to use as an anvil, and start practicing. Steel is wonderfully cheap. You know, me making a mistake here isn't an issue in the cost of steel. There is about $2 worth of steel in this piece. You know, you imagine how inexpensive it is to make 10 mistakes to have one succeed. Inexpensive in terms of the steel. Fuel's relatively inexpensive. Just practice. Get the setup and practice. You know, try and keep giving it a go and make the mistakes and be happy for them and enjoy the process. And don't make rhombuses.
Josh Mayer has made a donation. He says, twist it in the vise.
Twist it in the vise. Okay, sparks about to fly. Oh, what fun. Here we go. Is it going to work? Absolutely not. Is it fun to hammer on a piece of steel? Yes. Oh, goodness. Goodness gracious. Right. How long have we been streaming for? Does it say? 56 minutes. Oh! Okay, how easy would it be to cut up more material? I'm tempted by the idea. If I have enough. Okay. That burnt my mic pack off.
Lots of people suggesting throw it in the power hammer or press real quick.
Throw it in the power hammer. That'll fix everything. Oh my goodness, I don't have the bandsaw plugged in. I was going to try and cut up some more steel just in case. No, we can. I'm not going to have enough propane to do another one. Ah, man, that's annoying. Sorry? Just stick it together with a MIG welder, Alec. Oh, it's so terrible. It is not working at all. Oh my goodness gracious me. Because I'm going to want this as a thumbnail, can you just go to this?
Yeah.
And then just go full. There we go. Okay, it's not welded. What I'm going to do is for the thumbnail is I'm going to hit this and basically make it all go apart. And just make it look like a mess. How can I make it look like a mess? Okay, great. That's kind of good. Now, I think I'll be able to pull a thumbnail out of that when I then go into the video. Great, and now if we go to the big screen, I'm now going to look at it like, ah! See if I can pull a thumbnail out of this. Ah! Then come this way. Ah! And then this way, just in case I did it wrong. Ah! 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 And then like I'm pulling my hair out. See if I can have, I can just Photoshop it and have 3 of me. That'd be cool. So I'm going to be Photoshopping that thumbnail up, and okay, that propane bottle has like that much propane in the left of it. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. After the comments about doing another one, I had the steel in the saw, but I'm not going to get tapers done, collars made in time for the propane to not be out. So, we'll do this again, and we'll succeed next time. I'll make sure that I pre-cut up many more pieces. I won't practice beforehand. I don't practice beforehand. But we're going to do another one of these. It might be in a vlog. I might make a vlog about it, I think. We're going to do another one of these, and it's going to be successful. I've learned a lot here, and what I've learned is that I need to make sure that on the next one, I have a much better way of holding on to this. That means that I have a secure grip, which is exactly what I tell anybody that picked that up with a pair of tongs like I did. You know, if I was to give them my advice, I would have said, hey, hang on a second, make sure you have a good grip. By not listening to my advice, I made that mistake. There we go. Sad, but it is what it is. We're going to make sure that we make an awesome grappling hook. During next week, it's going to be a lot of fun. I really hope that you guys are sure to check out the vlog that we're going to put out tomorrow, because it's going to be great, and I really want you all to watch it, and I hope you all like it and find it really fun and enjoyable. It's going to be an absolute hoot. What is the comment that's coming in?
So here, read this.
Michael DeGraff, I love my girlfriend Anne way more than this grappling hook. I'm sure Anne is very honored to know that you love her more than this grappling hook. That's just fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. Why do people want me to say pineapple? I don't understand why people want me to say that. That's weird. I'll have to also use the grappling hook too. That'll be cool. Billion layer Damascus for 500,000 subscribers is absolutely not going to happen. But Ben Illingworth, I'm very pleased that you enjoyed. I'm very pleased you enjoyed the show. But M. Morinson, I'm pleased that you found this show enjoyable. Yes, making mistakes is part of it, and I've certainly had a good fun. Alan Sanderson, I'm very sorry, but I don't take on commission work. Very sorry, but I'm very pleased that you're watching at 6:30 in the morning in Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, oh goodness, I'm so pleased. David M. Romitz, thrilled that your daughters are enjoying the show. Are there any female blacksmiths? There are indeed. Look up Lorelei Sims. Looked up Victoria Patty of Blacksmith Her Radio. Certainly out there. And just fantastic. Really pleased that you enjoyed it. Everybody, it's an absolute pleasure to know that you've all been watching and enjoying the stream. Thank you very much. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you get ready with the swiddling down thing soon. Hang on, we'll get back up. Keep going up. There we go. Almost lost them there. Almost lost them. But I'm gonna say goodbye. It's gonna be great seeing you tomorrow on tomorrow's vlog. I'm gonna be going up to the coast. Blake, who's a friend of mine that's been visiting, as you've noticed in the vlogs. Woo! Texas. He's from Texas A&M. So apparently their greetings is to say "gig'em," which is weird, but nonetheless, we're gonna go up to the coast, show them the countryside. Lots of fun. We'll bring you along in the vlog. I hope you enjoy that. But of course, the vlog that we filmed today, that's gonna go out tomorrow. Yada. Okay, yeah, we can go. Please subscribe, share it with your friends. See you tomorrow on the next episode. It's been a blast. Thank you guys so much for your help. Bye-bye.